Okay, my darlings, summary time. So, we have the quadrants. Thank you, Descartes. It's the Cartesian plane. Did you learn about that in grade 9? I hope I taught you that. We have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, we have quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now sometimes we like to be real fancy and say quadrant II, or quadrant III, and not quadrant I, but quadrant IV, 1 before V, that's 4. So don't be afraid of using the Roman numerals. That's actually the official way of doing it, but we can also use the digits, the numbers. So let's talk about the cast rule. If we have our coordinate plane here, we say in quadrant 1, we're going to have all trigonometric ratios positive. So cos theta is positive, sine theta is positive, and tan theta is positive. And Q1 between 0 and 90, this is 0 degrees, this is where all the reference angles live. They live here. To get to the number in quadrant 2, okay, to get to the value here, we're going to go 180 degrees minus the reference angle. That's how we get values in quadrant 2. With this one, we're going to say, so if I'm just to draw this right here, and I say this is theta r, this right here is also theta r. But when I choose a different color, I would say that this is the quadrant 2 angle. To get to quadrant 3, so this one right here would be theta r, the reference angle. We use a different color here. This one right here would be the angle in quadrant 3. And to get to this one, we would say 180 degrees plus the reference angle, or theta r. Here, we would have theta r, but I'm going to use red here. The angle in the 4th quadrant the way that we would get that would be 360 degrees minus the reference angle. So just to keep on going with the cast rule, all trigonometric ratios are positive in quadrant 1. In quadrant 2, we have the only one is sine, because we have s here. So sine theta is positive, and cosine theta is negative, and tan is also negative. In quadrant 3, we have our t is positive, so that means that tan theta, oh, I should have theta. Tan theta is positive, but cosine theta is negative, and sine theta is negative. And for angles in quadrant 4, we're saying that C is the positive one. So we have cosine theta is positive, but sine theta is negative, and tan theta is negative. So this kind of looks like a hot mess right now. I'm not going to draw more on it, but I'm gonna redraw this and show you a few things. So if I were to find a point here, this would be r cos theta r sine theta. So it's the trigonometric ratio multiplied by the radius. And that works anywhere. This one right here is also going to be r cos theta and r sine theta, where r is the length of the terminal arm, which of course is this. Now, so this should tell you that your x values give you your cos, and your sine values give you your y. So on the horizontal we have cos, on the vertical we have sine, which is our y. So this one right here would be theta, and I'm just going to say theta 1. And this guy right here would be theta 2. I'm just going to use a different color here just to really make that stand out. Theta 2. So then that would be theta 2, just so that we can differentiate the two a little bit. So let's just see why that makes sense, the whole cast rule thing. Because I'm saying in this quadrant, both cosine and sine are positive, because it's in our first quadrant. X is positive and y is positive. But in this one right here, I'm saying that my my y values are positive. Okay, but my x values are negative, so that means that my cosine is negative. If I were to have one here, and I were to give myself another theta 3, I would say that this is r cos theta 3 comma r sine theta 3. The cosine, which is our x value, is negative, and our sine is also negative. Our y's are negative. So both cosine and sine are negative. Last but not least, we have our theta 4. So the coordinate points of this are going to be r cos theta 4 comma r sine theta 4. I know that my x values are positive for this one, so positive x values, that means cosine is positive. And we have our sine values, our sine values, which is our vertical, is negative. So there you have it. Whichever works for you, whether you remember the cast rule or you remember that cosine is associated with the horizontal and sine is associated with the vertical, either one of those things works. This one right here, we know that cosine is positive, we know that all are positive. With the s, we know that sine is positive, and with t, we know that tan is positive, so that means that both cosine and sine are negative.